working on throughout the year. For any country to develop, we know that we have to base development on the problems which are facing the country. If we don't do this, then we cannot be able to develop. And that is why we find that we have research institutions which have to address the various issues that are facing any country. Once we get solutions to these problems, we cannot just sit down and put everything on the shelf. We need to share this information, and this is where the conference comes in at hand to be able to enable us to achieve this. So in the coming 3 days, I hope that we are going to share what we have been working on, and at the same time also, this gives us the opportunity to be able to get partners, people that we can partner with in future, so that we be able to carry out research. Tharaka University, our area of interest is in dryland farming. This is an area whereby we think that we can be able to make an impact to this country in terms of development. We chose this because it's related to the area where we are situated, and the only way in which we can have an impact on our environment is by addressing the issues facing this. So maybe just briefly, mine is to wish you well, good contributions, good participations, so that we can be able to make this conference to be successful. So thank you very much, and welcome everybody to this conference. Thank you.
A better clap for DVC 1. Thank you so much, Prof, for the good remarks. Again, let me introduce let us get to know, we have our director, research. You can just wave because you'll be like the MC, moving around all over. And after the opening, he will be guiding us. So, colleagues, I really want to once more appreciate for this turn-up. My name is Professor Veronica Nyaga, in charge of academics, research, and student affairs. So, this is our business today with great support from our VC, the management, and all of us. Let me take this opportunity to say that we have the 6th conference, the annual conference, international conference, and it's an hybrid conference. We are physically here, and we have virtually, we have delegates from all over the world. So that's why we feel so great that it has come to this particular time. The theme of the conference this year, we are looking at research, technology, and sustainable resource management for socio-economic transformation. And we have included everyone. The delegates are from all parts of learning. We have agriculture, looking at it like the niche of this university. We look at dryland farming and mining. So we have included a theme on agriculture and dryland farming. We have education, because we are also looking at the transitions that are on, especially in this country, on the education system, and therefore we need to share knowledge to get to know what is happening in the world as we transit to new systems of education. We are also looking at basic sciences. We need science, research is also a science. So we need to equip ourselves with the skills related to science so that we can have the appropriate knowledge for our socio-economic development. We are also having computing technologies, looking at the contemporary issues also today. Remember, we have the artificial intelligence, an area that is coming up, and our learners need to be equipped with these skills that can help them fit in the setup in the world today. There are so many emerging technologies, and therefore we need to understand and share skills, especially with our delegates and keynote speakers on such emerging issues. We have business ideas, or business and economics. We are going to share knowledge also on that. That's one of the themes. We have humanities and social sciences, and also we have health sciences. So our delegates will be presenting in all those areas in this conference. As we try to organize on this, we felt that we need to achieve the following objectives. It is a time when we need to disseminate research findings and innovations and technologies as we look at the socio-economic development of the country and also the whole world. We are also trying to embrace the regenerative agricultural activities. When we look at smart agriculture, we are also looking at smart farming activities that are geared for correct and appropriate socio-economic transformation in our country. As also we look at the niche area of this university on dry land farming. We are also looking forward to achieve on building collaborations and networks as we do this conference that is going to benefit also the university, fraternity, and also the country as we share with the delegates. We are also looking forward to enhance best practices and technologies in health area and also care systems for improved and sustainable patient care outcomes. So colleagues, we have got great partners. As I said, we have keynote speakers who are already with us here. We have partners who have been with us in this journey, who are ready to support us, both national and international, and we really appreciate that endeavor. And we have great researchers who have submitted their abstracts. We have delegates from all over the world. We have collaborators, and we look forward to sharing knowledge and also skill development as we do this, to network, to understand diverse cultures as we share together. And also, we are looking forward to work together on the area of innovation, because the ideas that are going to come from here, we are going to look at how we can improve our innovations as we share together, and even career opportunities in this conference. So, colleagues, we are very grateful, and we look forward to a very successful conference for the 3 days. Kindly stay here, remain in Tharaka. This is a divine university. The weather at this particular time is very conducive. It's very conducive for this exercise, and I'm sure it's going to be very successful. And like I said, we have the full support of the management, our VC. So kindly remain here so that you learn. And all the ideas that we are going to share, they are going to benefit all of us. I want to take this opportunity to welcome our VC so that he can open this conference, officially open, as even he introduces the keynote speakers who are here with us and other important distinguished guests. So kindly team, let us rise up as we welcome the VC with one big clap. One, welcome, Prof.
Okay. Thank you, Professor Nyaga. God is good, and all the time. I want to start by acknowledging the great people who have done a lot of work to organize this conference. The director, Dr. Alex Modhengi, the DVC academics, Professor Nyaga, and all the team that supported you. So I want to take this opportunity to welcome you to Tharaka University 6th Annual International Research Conference, whose theme is Research, Technology, and Sustainable Resource Management for Socio-Economic Transformation. The university is a powerful agent of change through use of research and technology to address complex societal challenges for society transformation. This conference brings people from diverse backgrounds, from Kenya and beyond, to address this very important theme on research, technology, and sustainable resource management. As you are aware, the mandate of our university, any serious university, is to do research, to teach, and to do outreach. So when we meet here today, I think we are doing almost the three core mandate together, because some people will learn from here. We are also going to use this opportunity to disseminate what we know. So this is an opportunity that allows us to meet every year to discuss what we have thought about, what we are thinking about, and through this conference, we can also sharpen our ideas. So I want to encourage you to be interactive, discuss ideas, give points of view, so that we can develop not only this university, but Kenya and the world. This university, as you've heard from other researchers, has a focus on dryland agriculture and mining. And you can see where we are strategically positioned to undertake that exercise. So in terms of dryland agriculture as a university, we want to be very focused. We want to demonstrate to the world that there's no region that God created without a purpose for. So you can succeed even in a dry area. And what we have started taking practical measures to be able to demonstrate that. So as a university, we have implemented various demonstration units in the university. We have a citrus farm, we have a poultry farm, we have a piggery. We want to be hands-on. And I want to thank the Mukodhima community. They were very generous. They gave us 40 acres of land. So out of those 40 acres of land, we are dedicating 10 acres to apple farming. We are dedicating 10 acres to sunflower farming as demo units, and many other serious, because we are thinking as a university, we should be able to be an aggregation center where we get products from farmers and even market them on their behalf so that they are not cheated by middlemen. So we are also thinking why can't we create an industry? If we can convince all the farmers in Tharaka to plant sunflower, then we are an aggregation center. Why can't we produce cooking oil? Because the owner of Bidco has already said through our chancellor that is going to buy our sunflower. But other than taking the sunflower to him, why can't we do the industry ourselves? So these are the ideas we are thinking about. So research, to be able to empower communities. Then the issue of technology is also something that we take very seriously as our university. You know, we are affiliated to the Cisco Academy, to the Huawei, to Amazon Web Services, to Oracle, and to the Microsoft Academy. So we also want to train our students to be technology savvy, because in the world where we are, you cannot survive without technology. In fact, one of our students who is doing a technology transfer project is about the chaff cutter, which I think some of you are going to get an opportunity, because people get a lot of injuries when they are operating them. So our student is coming up with a technology-based solution on how can you make it safer so that you don't lose your fingers, and sometimes you can lose your life. So as a university, we also want that mandate of technology to be enhanced, because you cannot survive in this world without technology. Finally, on the issue of sustainable resource management, you all know that one of our core values is sustainability as a university. And sustainability means you do things in a way that there's a better tomorrow. You don't mine, you destroy communities. You don't farm, you destroy communities. You do it in a sustainable way. So if those who are aware of our strategic plan, they know that we take sustainability very seriously. And even in the area of mining, you're aware that we had a group from Germany the other day, and we signed a letter of intent because we want to, there are a lot of minerals here, we want to start a center of excellence in copper mining. And I know where Ovid comes from, Ericsson in Norway. They do a lot of petroleum exploration. In fact, they even pump oil from the sea. They have a lot of technology that they use to do it. So this is also something we can engage with him. We can engage with the Germans. They had a very difficult name. I think it was Sonkokre Unternehmensgruppe. Dr. Kirogwa should be able to pronounce it. But they are very serious people, and they are continuing. And I can tell you these things are going to become a reality, because we are not joking. We are very serious in this business. So we want to do mining, assist the university, assist the government, and also the local communities, because they will also be paid some royalties for that work that will be done. So I don't want to speak a lot, but I also want to take this opportunity to acknowledge the various speakers that will be talking to us today. Dr. Daniel Gete is a Deputy Director in NABLA's Kenya Vision 2030 Delivery Secretariat. He will be talking on the role of public-private partnerships and greater private sector initiatives for university infrastructure and service delivery. Gete has been a very strong supporter of the university, and we are trying to implement the affordable housing project in the university, and he was able, the project was advertised and is being implemented in many universities, so he's a very strong partner. And we have also been So we have written several proposals with him. He's a very valuable asset to Tharaka University. And I'm sure you can see the topic is public-private partnership. I know this should interest Mr. Simiyu a lot, so you need to have a cup of tea and decide. Then we have Ovid Ericsson, senior lecturer, and is going to talk about social sustainability. Ovid comes from Norway, where I was a student for 4 years. So by virtue of that relationship, we should be able to bring something to Tharaka University. Because somehow we have shared the same country, we know their culture, and these things are done through friendship. So we are very happy to have you here today. He's interested in language, social transformation, and we are also talking about a project on water heating at night. So we should be able to engage him, take time to engage him and see what we can do. Even on water, I was telling him we have water in the university, but we don't have water in the village. And most of our students stay in the village. So if we can be able to expand that water project and provide water to the community, I think it will be more useful to the community. We have Dr. Lawrence Deru, is the COD Department of Computing, Jomo Kenyatta, and you talk about artificial intelligence. We have Mrs. Mary Nyale, County Director, Farm Africa, be talking about regenerative agriculture. We have Professor Olduna Rao, Worcester Polytechnic Institute, USA, will be talking about beyond boundaries, expanding access to chemistry education through virtual reality technologies in FAST labs. We have Dr. Beatrice Morevi, Senior Principal Scientist, Waters Corporation, Boston, USA, will be talking about ultra performance, liquid chromatography, fundamentals, column chemistries, systems with selected applications, for those who can understand. Then we have Dr. Nicholas Rono, is a postdoc at the Fort Hare Alice Campus, South Africa, will be talking towards high performance, third generation solar cells, an experimental and computational approach. So you can see we have a wide range of topics that we are going to hear. We are very experienced speakers who will be talking to us, and for us is to request you to be here because this is also a fundamental mandate of our university. I think with those few remarks, I'll declare this conference officially open.
Thank you so much, the VC, for the official opening. And delegates, you've gotten the wide range of speakers that we have for this conference. With us at this particular time, we have Dr. Daniel Gitti, we have Erickson. So can we give very good 2 claps for our keynote speakers who are already with us at this particular time? 1, 2, thank you so much. So with that, because we are done with the opening, but before, if you look at the schedule, we would want to get to the keynote speakers' address. Before that, in the African way, we have to appreciate our keynote speakers and also our VC, and we want to present just a gift so that we can get the attachment of Tharaka University, and so that they feel they are part of this community and they are part of this conference, they are part of the delegates. So I'll call upon the director to take us on that part. Kindly, we want to appreciate our keynote speakers. Director, guide. Let's see how we do it. Okay, okay. Yes, yes. We have the VC. VC, you can come. Thanks so much for appreciating that gift. So you are now part of this conference and this community. Delegates, we move to the next step, and I'll call again the director to guide us on that. Kindly check on the schedule, and let's move. Welcome.
Thank you so much, DVC Alsa, the VC Professor P.K. Moriogi, our keynote speakers, Erickson and Dr. Gitti, the DVC's registrars, Researchers, good morning. So without wasting time, I think we shall proceed to the next stage, whereby I think I don't know if I have that privilege. The VC will invite the keynote speaker, and then we can proceed there. Yeah.
May I take this opportunity to invite Dr. Daniel Gete, who is a Deputy Director in NABLA's Kenya Vision 2030, to make his presentation. Karibu Daktari.
You have to adjust my mic because I'm always near the center of gravity, so don't worry. So the VC, Professor P.K. Muriungi, the keynote speaker, Elvin Erickson, the DVCs, all participants, good morning. Good morning again. My name is Daniel Mutegi, as you have been told. It gives me a lot of pleasure to be here to witness the transformation that Professor P.K. Muriungi and the rest of you have been doing to transform Tharaka University and the surrounding towns. Even when I was coming, Prof, I realized that one of my high masts that I was supposed to do at Marimanti was diverted to here. There's a high mast here, which was to be at Marimanti, but I'm happy that they diverted it to the university. So I'm happy to be here to witness the transformation that you people are doing. And I pray that God will bless you to continue to make the transformation that is required. What you are doing requires that maybe the VC is given these international awards. These presidential awards that we keep giving to some Lamsako individuals should be coming to the VC and the rest of you because of the transformation that we are doing. Again, as a Vision 2030 and delivery secretariat person, I'm happy because in the performance contracting cycle, you are always topping. You are always number 2, almost going to number 1. And I know this year you might go to number 1. So a big clap for Tharaka University, because always, but they have not allowed me to come to evaluate you, because they know if they allow me to come here, Prof, you will be the number 1. Even if you're not. So they don't allow me to come near here, but I know you are doing a great job, and keep up. So let now me go to the issue and the reason why I'm here. And the reason why I'm here is to present a topic on the role of public-private partnerships and greater private sector initiatives for university infrastructure development and service delivery. And I had a long speech, but because of time, I'll try also to shorten so that I don't bog you down with a lot of semantics. But what you are saying is that because of the greater need for infrastructure, because of the expansion of the university programs and the universities in Kenya, you may have the right number. Mine is, I'm looking at 78 number of private and public universities. There has been a lot of great enrollment of students, and this enrollment of students requires a lot of infrastructure for them, requires also some programs and projects, some of them which we may not have the funding for, which might necessitate some rethink beyond the traditional way of financing project programs and all manner of initiatives. And the government of Kenya, of course, has been financing some of these university programs, university projects, and all manner of activities. But again, there's a lot of financial stress. There's a lot of financial strain because of the many issues that the government has to take care of. So you have seen that over time, there's a reduction in the number of universities that we can fund, the number of programs we can fund, maybe the number of students we can fund. And currently VC, I'm told about 120,000 students are not able to get help, are not able to get the capitation that they require for their university education, which means now we should stop relying on the traditional model of funding either programs, projects, and even courses. I will be showing you as we end this brief presentation that we can use the private sector, we can use PPPs. So I'll be calling them PPPs now because it's public-private partnership. It's where the government works with the private sector to come up with a unique partnership through which now we can fund programs, projects, and activities. And I'll be showing you that the private sector has been there with us for a long time. And remember, Tharaka University is a government entity. Therefore, it qualifies to be a proper government entity, or government speak, we can say. So, as we are saying government, remember you're also government. You should not struggle, Daktari, to be any other, you are the government. Because the purpose of government is development. And what the university is doing is bring development. So what you are saying is that under PPPs, the private sector will work with the public sector, in this case the university, to come up with a partnership through which you can do mega projects. And the government will continue to have financial stress. The government will continue to have debts. The government will continue to have challenges in raising revenue. Because if you raise the revenue so much, if you raise the levels of taxation to some levels, people will riot. And when people riot, the government will not be stable. You remember the June 25th, 2024 insurrection, for example. So there's a level to which government cannot raise taxes. So government, even the university, have to think on innovative ways. And I've told you that from the financial crisis in the world started in that 3 common era of BCE. That's when the financial crisis began in the world. So even before the modern states were there were a lot of financial crises. And in my literature, I have documented over 3,000 financial crises that have happened in the world. So when we have a financial crisis in Kenya or in Africa, it's not a new thing. It's something that will continue to be there. But again, you will see that because of that, therefore, there's need to diversify our financing of project programs and activities. And therein now comes PPPs. Because PPPs are saying that, look, we can have the government and the private sector working on some agenda, aligning their interests. You know, what does the private sector want? Is the profit. Yeah. What does the government want, or what does the university want? Is good programs, good projects, good running outcomes, so we can come together, align our interests, mark them or mix them together, and come up with a product that can advance our common interests, whether it's the public sector or whether it's the private sector. And therefore, PPPs, as I'm calling them now, they are not a new thing. That's what I'm saying in line 3 there. I'm saying that PPPs began in the year called 381 BC again, you know, before Christ. PPPs began in 381 BC, where there was an independent state in modern day Greek, called Eritrea, that contracted a private contractor called Charopanes to drain a lake. So this state, under a challenge of some persistent lake that was giving them an headache. So what they did is they got a private person to drain the lake. And there was some agreement that was entered into that the contractor will drain the lake, but he will retain, or he will first of all use the land that has been drained of the water. He will cultivate that land for 10 years, but he will pay some taxes to Eritrea as the government now. And then this guy will be tax exempted for the time he will be operating the private-public partnership. So the first recorded PPP happened in 381 BC, and ever since, countries have been using PPPs to do their projects. Some of you are aware of the colonial projects. You are aware that we were colonized by British. But what you don't know is that there's a company called Imperial British East Africa Company, IBACO, that was very instrumental in the colonization of Africa or Kenya, for that matter. This company was a PPP. It is just the government of UK or London that gave this company the rights to go all over the world exploring, and where they could explore and get something, they were given the right even to build the railway, they were given the right to tax some poll tax and other things, and therefore recoup the interest, and therefore expand the colonial project. Even when you look at other countries like India, there was the Indies company, historians will let you know that, but all these companies, even when Christopher Columbus discovered Americas, it was a PPP. Columbus was just assembled by the Queen or the King, and he paid some royalties to go and explore on behalf of UK or other European countries. Even the Spanish people were very instrumental in discovering new routes with the Portuguese. You remember in Mombasa, in Marindi, you have the Vasco da Gama Pira, by Vasco da Gama, who arrived there in 1498. These guys were just a public-private partnership. The only thing that is that the whites had not told us that they were giving some individuals, some companies, that ability, that facilitation to go out and explore, to go out and map, to go out and get some programs and projects that could help them regain or become imperial or become a superpower for that matter. If you go to the US today, the United States of America, you will find out that even the army itself, the American army, most of the technology, most of the infrastructure is run by private individuals. It's a PPP. The American governments, most of the government in the West, do not spend a lot of money on core projects. They have given out to the private sector to run these programs, to run research, to run a lot of programs for their countries to maintain their hegemony over the rest of the world. So this is a preaching now. I'm saying that PPPs can work even in Kenya, even the university infrastructure, so that we can continue. So therefore, over time, I've just dealt to say that PPPs have become an ideal way, because over history, economists will tell you, those of you who are financial experts and economists will tell you that when the states were developing, people started with what we call nationalization. In other words, we could have the national government or the government itself taking care of most of the bills. And that is how many of us have grown to understand that the government has all the money. Yeah, that is the understanding. Yeah, under nationalization, government provides everything that is required. But over time then, when after the First World War, Second World War in 1945, there was a lot of financial crisis. As I've told you from that Dream BC, there were crises, financial crisis. Therefore, people started thinking, no, this nationalization cannot work. They started thinking of, can governments come in and invest? Can government now bring the private sector, or can government themselves fund more new projects? And for those of you who are economists, government came up with what we call Keynesian theories. There's a guy called John Keynes who came up with the need for government to keep pumping more money on the economy. But this money has some limits. There's a limit to which you cannot go beyond in terms of expenditure. So from the 60s, the governments of the world started looking at, do we now go to privatization? They started now giving projects to private people completely without government involvement. Then from the 70s, 80s, there were a lot of riots globally, because now if you give an asset, which was government initially, to a private person, without the government being there to see that this service is being provided, or to ensure that the poor are getting some subsidy, again, a government will be abdicating its role. Even the university, you cannot just come and give all the services or the project completely to a private person without the VC or you having a way of looking at it. Is it helping our students? Is it helping our community? So government cannot completely remove itself from service provision or from project delivery. Therefore, 80s, 90s, there was privatization, which brought a lot of chaos. Then they said, no. From the 1980s now, in London, when the former Prime Minister of Britain, Margaret Thatcher, came to the office, she said, no, we need to have a bread. We need to mix government and private people so that we don't have riots, we don't have a lot of burden to the government. Therefore, PPPs started now becoming more effective again from the 90s up to the present value. And when you look at most of the projects in the UK, US, Europe, and other countries, you see they have very good railway system. The Prof was in Norway, and you see that. They have very good railway system, very good roads, very good infrastructure. These things are done through concessions, through various forms of PPPs, because the government doesn't have to bother itself with a lot of financing. You can let that be done by the private people, and they will work. And why are we going to the PPPs? Because the private people have a lot of managerial expertise. They can manage an asset very well. Private people can raise capital very easily. Yeah, for you as a government, for you to raise money, I can tell you as a secret, but don't let anyone know who is outside this room, that the government has been trying to get some money from IMF for the last almost 6 months, and it has not come. We are being told maybe it may come in December, yeah, and things like that. But we have been trying to get money. But if you have a private person, they have ways of getting money. They have ways of getting even cheap credit or cheap capital. So we are going to the private people because they can get cheap credit. They have good managerial expertise. They have good technology, you know. If you want to do some innovative products, you know, they have innovation, they have technology, they have the 3 E's that I call the 3 E's: efficiency, economy, and effectiveness. You know, in government, you know, we have this animal called procurement. You know this animal called procurement? And I'm not disparaging people, or some of you who are procurement persons or specialists. If the VC want to buy a pen, VC, Prof, you might realize that if you go directly to a shop, you might buy it cheaper than if you are using procurement. So government now has all these burdens, and this is not you are making or my making. This is because that is how governments operate. So we cannot say it's not a good thing. But now the private people are able to get the same product better, you know, in an innovative way. With you know, so the reason why we are going to PPPs is that we need to get better credit, better technology, better innovation, good managerial practice, the 3 E's, efficiency, economy, effectiveness, and also to get a lot of what you're calling the long running tradition of the public and the private sector working together. You know, as I'm preaching now, I can tell you that the government, yes, has traditionally provided the services, but there's a limit to which the government can go. You know, we cannot, even now, another secret I'm telling you, is that the citizenry are saying we are, oh, housing levy is there, oh, house fee, chief, and all other things. So even the government itself, speaking as a government person now, even you are government, is that we cannot go beyond that. And remember, we need you as Tharaka University to open up more campuses. You know, I want a campus in my Kibonga area, so that when I'm near, I can say there's a university. Then the other places where people want university campus in Mokodima, we want to be there because I was teaching at Mokodima the other time. So we need more projects, more campuses from Tharaka University, but there's no money. You know, we put more pressure onto the VC and yourselves. So we can overcome those challenges by going to public-private partnerships. I'll be showing you how. So therefore, PPPs have ever been used in many infrastructural provision, and you know the United Nations, one of the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals, number 9, is on building resilient infrastructure, promoting inclusive and sustainable industrialization, and fostering innovation. So for us to be able to advance as an economy, we cannot advance without requisite infrastructure. Yesterday when I came with Ericsson, we went around the university, And I realized I need to camp here more to work with the VC so that we get some good infrastructure. And I immediately called my officer who is in the housing and urban development section, and I was telling her that Tharaka University is already a town. It's already a what? A town. It's already an urban area by itself. So we need a special package for it does not have money, but already this is a university city. We should come up with more programs, and we will be working with the prof to ensure that we have sustainable infrastructure, resilient infrastructure for us to develop. The history of civilization, the history of development is an history of coming up with a resilient infrastructure. When civilization began in Mesopotamia and also in Egypt, because there's this thread, Ovid, where people from Britain, not from Norway, not from Norway, have a tendency to think that Africa was not civilized when they came. Yeah, but I can tell you as an urban planner that before the white people came to Africa, we had over 30 civilizations, including the Great Zimbabwe, including the Buganda Kingdom, including Egypt, including Aksum and the Ethiopian kingdoms, and all that. And did you know that Ethiopia kingdom was able to send ambassadors to other countries in 1840? You know, they had Mambarozi, they had ambassadors. Yeah, even before we knew the concept of ambassadors. So what you're saying is that Africa is a cradle of civilization. It's a cradle of what? Civilization. I'll be talking about that topic some other days. But what you're saying is that you should not belittle yourself as an African. Yeah? You should not feel offended to be an African. You should also not feel offended to be a Tharaka person. And you know Tharaka now is going places. Those of you who know news know that. So what you're saying is that never be ashamed of your African descent, of Tharaka descent, and all of these things. So we are saying infrastructure is key to the development of civilization. When Egypt was developing, they had to do a lot of irrigation control along the river Nile so that they had some irrigation infrastructure to maintain their dominance or through food provision. And do you know that in between 12th century to 15th century, Africa was providing food to Europe? Do you know that? Between 12th century and 15th century, Africa was providing food to Europe. And one of the Caesars, you know Caesari, one of the Caesars, called Caesar Augustus, and he developed a program called ANONA, A-N-O-N-A, which was a continuous supply of food from Africa to Rome or to the Roman Empire. So when I see Africans misusing their God-given resources, I feel very offended because we have all the resources that we need here, even to attract the private investors. So let me not continue without preaching, I'll continue later. But what we are saying is that infrastructure is key, and we have to get ways of developing infrastructure. When you look at the expenditure, if you're a mathematician or a finance person, and you look at our budget, for example, as a country, and you look at the proportion of the GDP, gross domestic product, that we assign to infrastructure, you will be ashamed. It is very little. Yeah, it is not enough, you know. What you call OECD countries, Organization for Economic Development countries, which Kenya is a member, their infrastructural expenditure has been going down, yeah, between 2010 to 2018. It has been averaging between 0.7 to 0.4% of the GDP. And do you know the amount of money of the GDP we need to use for research? Do you know the figure as a country? And according to Kenya Vision 2030, we have set a target to use only 2% of our GDP onto research, technology, and innovation. And as the latest performance contracting prof, we are only using 0.98% of our GDP into research, innovation, technology, and development. Do you think we can develop? No. Yeah, just say no. You know, academicians should not fear. Yeah. If we are using less than 2% of our GDP onto research, technology, and innovation, we cannot develop. So we need more money for the university, we need more money for infrastructure, we need more money for all these things so that we can reach the level that we should get. So our expenditure on GDP, on research, on technology, on education has been going down. And of course, the more the students come, the more the campuses you have, the more you have to have the infrastructure. So under PPPs, it's just that collaboration, that working together. Of course, for us to get the university infrastructure in the right quantity, in the right proportion, we will need to think beyond the box. We will need to have abnormal thinking. You know, people are used to normal thinking, normal human beings, where government has the money, government has the resources, government does not run out of money. Government can even print. You know, we are talking with Ericsson and we are saying some countries, when they have no money, they just say, okay, man, what's the problem? Print more dollars, print more money. You know, it doesn't help because that money is not backed by any value, and therefore you will be attracting a lot of inflation, and the country will not develop. So for us to get the right infrastructure, the logical thing for us to do is to go into PPPs. And of course, there's no global and agreed definition of a PPP, but we can take the UN definition. We can take the United Nations, the World Economic Forum that is held in Davos, which is almost near the country of Ovid. And according to the UN and the World Economic Forum, they say that PPP is a voluntary and collaborative relationship undertaken between public and private entities. And of course, the collaboration must have clear and agreed deliverables, clear and agreed timelines, clear and agreed key performance indicators, clear and agreed timelines, and means of identifying the risks, quantifying the risk, apportioning the risks to the parties that are best placed to handle those risks. Of course, there are many other definitions. I'll leave my presentation so that you can share and look at it more. Now, theoretically, because we're in an academic world, PPPs are justified by many theories. Nadharia mbalimbali, nadharia, kwa wale watu ambao ni wa Kiswahili. So there are many theories that justify the use of PPPs. But the one that is very important is what we call PAT, Principal Agency Theory. The Principal Agency Theory is just as simple as that. There's a principal, there's an agent, and then there's a collaboration. So the principal here is the government. Because it's like in a school, it's like in the university here. The VC is responsible for everything. You want of Moi, when Moi would say, if your wife goes away, you say it's Moi. If there's no infrastructure, you say it's Moi. If there's no school, you say it's Moi. It's Moi everything. You would ask in Swahili and it was coming out very well. But what you're saying is that the principal is in charge of everything. The government is in charge of everything. Even if it's not the one providing directly, it is responsible for those services. So the principal, like the VC, will get an agent who is mostly the private person to do some tasks which belongs to him as a principal, but because of some challenges, because of money, because of technology, because of other challenges, he is unable to do it. So the principal will assign the agent some tasks within a timeline to deliver a certain product. And then the principal will get some incentives. In the PPPs, you must have incentives. We'll get some incentives to incentivize the private person to come. And I've been saying, and I've been writing the newspapers, you have seen my articles, you can go so read online. You see Daniel Motegiti, you see them. And I've been arguing that universities, not Tharaka University, because Tharaka University, the pace at which you have developed in the few years you have existed, I don't have any quarrel with you, any quarrel. In fact, I wish you can do more. And I wish I knew Prof when I was in housing, when I under a lot of powers because of a certain boss I was working with. But don't worry, that's not an issue. So what you're saying is that other universities have existed for a long time. They have huge chunks of land, but they are going bankrupt. Like, I'm very angry when I see more university. Now the government is saying they will put some 2.9 billion to resuscitate. This is a dead entity. Yeah, you are resuscitating, trying to pump some oxygen so that the guy can pick. But what you're saying is that these universities have a lot of resources. They have a lot of land, for example. And you know, with land in a big city like Eldoret, you don't require anything else. Just go to US, go to Norway, get some companies that are manufacturing something, bring them here, tell them, guys, I'm giving you this land under this PPP arrangement, do this, but also I want this percentage of revenues, and they will do it, and you don't require any government to come to help you. There was a governor in Nigeria called Tinubu, yes, who is the current president of Nigeria. And one time he was antagonistic with the federal president, Olusegun Obasanjo. And Obasanjo denied him money for Lagos State. And therefore, Bola Tinubu went to his people, talked to them very well, and told them, guys, we have been denying money at the federal level. We have to work our own mechanisms. And then he started encouraging people to pay taxes, to pay levies, to pay whatever they would pay. And therefore, people started, and then whenever he could get the money, they could do a road, they could do some street light, they could do some water, and the people started reporting each other. Dr. is not paying, he's not paying the rate, he has not paid. So people, the corrections became more and more, until now, Lagos State was able to build the Manhattan of Africa. They went into the sea because they are in the Atlantic Ocean. They drenched what people from Ovid do. They reclaimed part of the Atlantic Ocean and built massive towers there. And this is a county, kind of. It's a state. It's a county doing such things because Bola Tinubu got many PPP. You can read about that. He got many PPP deals for the universities, for the county, for whatever he was doing. Until now, the president, even if he was a bitter rival to the president called him into a meeting. And he told him, I don't want you to vie in the next session of governorship. I want you to be my minister for public works, housing, and urban development. And this was a rival turned afraid because simply of the massive PPP programs that he attracted into the Lagos State. So what am I saying is that PPPs are very, very justifiable. I think the theory, the PAT theory, you will see it later. Of course, it relates also to the contract theory, it relates to what we call efficiency theory, and all manner of theories. And I know you people will do theories before you go to practical, and therefore you will read more and see what you can do, because I know the VC time is ending. So what you can say is that why do you want the private sector? I think I've said that. They will bring money, they will bring technology, they will bring resources, and all that. And the key thing that I want you to know is that in 1993, when I was in class 6, the World Bank came up with a strategy we call the neighboring markets to work strategy, where they're saying, in areas where you as government or you as a university cannot deliver, just enable the private people to come to work, and they will do it. So it's a neighboring market strategy. Again, you can see about it later. So university infrastructure should be expanded because it is key for our learning programs to continue, and it is a panacea. It is a solution to many things that have gone wrong in many universities. But you, Tharaka University, have no problem with you. In fact, where you are doing some progress. Of course, World Bank have said that, all the time, we keep running to the World Bank, Prof. So therefore, World Bank has summed up and saying that, why are we saying we need private partnerships? Throughout history, the private people have been working with the government, only that they work through piecemeal contracts. We want to build a road, we give one contractor to build the road. We realize, That road does not have sodas, does not have the guardrails, or does not have the street light. We give another contractor to do the street light. Oh, that road does not have some footbridge. We didn't give another contractor to do that. Oh, that road does not have internet cables. Oh, another contractor comes to do the cables. But under PPPs, we do what we call bundling. Bundle. We bring them together. We bundle them together. We say we'll do a road. We need some traffic lights. We need culverts. We need sodas. We need all that. So we give one contractor who now manages other subcontractors downstream to deliver the services. And therefore, in the PPP language, you'll be hearing of a special purpose vehicle, SPV, working together. Are we together? Yes. So SPV, you hear that teacher, and this note, this speech, I'll be reading it. It's not a very speech, but it's academic speech. It's not the normal speech. So what we're saying is that now the infrastructure, we must get away, because private people have been working with us all the time, and I wanted to give you a case study. There's a university, many universities, let me say, many universities in the US, many universities in the West, many universities in developed countries like USA, UK, and Netherlands are working with the PPPs to do many programs or many projects, and you will be seeing that later on. There's one thing I wanted to tell you, that between 2009 and now, there are over, the PPP projects are in the US alone are valued at about US dollars 786 billion. If you count that one into Kenyan shillings, US dollars 786 billion, you see it's almost some 7 trillion or so, and so forth. So the PPPs have increased in their uses. More than 135 countries are using PPPs, some in Africa, some in other countries. I wanted to specifically focus on the university because it is not projects only that we want you to use PPPs, even programs. Suppose the VC realize that you have a very nice program you want to start, like the mining now, but you are lacking the equipment, you are lacking the expertise. And then Prof knows a powerful university in South Africa, Witwatersrand, that does expertise in mining. Or suppose you realize that there's a private company that can do mining, or that has been doing mining. Under PPP arrangement, you just go and structure a working relationship with such a private person who will bring the equipment here at Tharaka University, and they will roll out a program on mining, but this program is run by the private person. You know, and you will come up with ways of incentivizing this guy. You can say, maybe I'll be paying you annually payment based on the availability of equipment, based on the number of students you attract, based on the number of people who are coming for exchange program. You know, there's a way. So PPPs are not only for projects, no, even for programs. You may realize that, like in Dedan and Kimathi University, they went and they did a partnership with, of course, the CUT is older than you, so that comparison is not very good, but I want to use it as an example. So the CUT went and talked with, not Gogo, but this company, the Boeing. And Boeing contracted Dedan and Kimathi University of Technology to do them the microchips. So because there was no capacity at the CUT, what they did is that they brought in some engineers from Boeing who have been teaching some courses at Dedan and Kimathi University so that we can have the local capacity to produce microchips. This is a kind of a partnership. So we are saying that as a university, you should not fail to get infrastructure, or you should not fail to get programs or projects because of no money. Go out there and look for private people who are willing to invest, who are willing to take risks, who are willing to market the course, who are willing to do more to be able to attract partners. Now, the University of Namibia, the University of Technology of Namibia, NUST, the Namibia University of Science and Technology, for example, developed a PPP program with the Chartered Institute of Logistics and Transport of the UK in 2011. so that this Chartered Institute of Logistics can come and pitch camp at Namibia University of Science and Technology, set up the buildings, set up the infrastructure, set up the course, work with the university to regularize the program, and have the program approved by your Commission for University Education, and later on roll out the program and market the course. Because you as a private person are the one who has come to set up the program. You should come up with the ways of incentivizing people to come for that course. You could say, for the first 10 females who enroll in the technology program, I'll give them a waiver. You know, more people will come. Or there's something you can do. Therefore, you attract more people, you get your revenue, and after some time, you leave the university with the program, because the university will have trained the lecturers and other people, and therefore it will pick. So I'm saying universities should not struggle getting money. Again, legally, there's a lot of legal framework in Kenya for use of public-private partnerships. There's a PPP Act 2021, which is there. You can see it online. I'm not dwelling on that. And other frameworks, we have the PPP Directorate based at the National Treasury, again, which is ready to advise any university or any government that want to use PPPs. Conclusion, so that my preaching, I can get some offerings now, after finishing this, is that as we conclude, I'm saying that PPPs are popular for development, for infrastructure development, for programs, for financing, and for all manner of activities. Number two, institutions of higher learning can use PPPs because of the land that they have, in some cases, because of the number of students that they have, because also of where they are located. For example, there are many companies that are looking to go into green energy. In fact, Prof, I was telling your people that now, because of the trees you have planted here, first of all, you need to be given an award, which I'll be campaigning for from here. Number two, you need to go into the carbon trading system, because the white people, people from Ovid's country and the UK and other countries are giving a lot of money to people who are trying to trap the carbon dioxide, CO2 emissions, which is one of the greatest greenhouse gas, which is causing us to have rivers to dry and all manner of damages because of climate change. So you can attract many private companies who want to do solar energy, who want to do green energy, who want to set up factories relying on green energy and all manner of things, because you have land and you have the space. So PPPs can be used in the university. And Kenya, of course, I've said, as a very elaborate PPP framework. And as I finish, my recommendations for any university in Kenya or any university in the world is that because of the RAD, because of the students that you have, you can use what you have. Even when God was talking to Moses, he asked him, what are you holding in your hands? And then Moses said, I have a stick or I have a rod for grazing cattle or whatever. And he told him to put it down. And when he put it down, it became a big snake that really swallowed the snakes of the magicians of Egypt. So as a university, you can use what you have. That is the student number, and I'm told you're almost reaching 10,000 students. Suppose you came up with a software of getting an extra 3,000 from each student through some programs. You could make a lot of A&A and other money. I know you are doing very well in A&As, but you can also come up with the PPP programs to be able to attract more people and more things. The university should accelerate the training in the PPPs, because the World Bank is giving a lot of support to PPP trainings, and therefore, working with the VC, I know we will push on this, you can set up PPP trainings, because PPPs cut across every sector, whether it's education, agriculture, everything, it cuts across all that. Your copper center, all this can be funded by PPPs. And of course, you can work with the National Treasury, with the World Bank, and all manner of things. And the universities should also set up the centers of excellence. And also should set up a PPP team that can look out for more PPP opportunities. And as I heard, the issue is that you as the lecturers, you as the people in the university, help Prof, the VC, to come up with the workable partnerships, workable PPPs. And I know the way Prof is an open door policy, and he will be able to pick them up and scale them up, and we shall develop the university. Be the people who are in the, there are three kinds of people. 5% of the people make things happen. You know the power of the Pareto principle, the 80-20 rule. You know, 5% of the people make things happen. They are the ones driving the programs. They are coming with the programs to the VC. We can attract this technology company. But I'm happy you're working with the Cisco and other Microsoft. You can roll that up and ensure you have more trainings here for technology. And people pay some little fees. In Tharaka, Prof, many people do not know how to use a computer, do not know how to use a mouse, and other things. Ensure you come up with some programs that are outreach there and handing you more money and more programs. So 5% of the people make things happen. 15% of the people watch things happen. What percentage is that? 5 and 15? So what is the balance from 100%? 80% have no idea what is happening. So I want you not to be in the 80%. Thank you very much. May God bless you. Keep you well. Thank you.
Wow. Let us first of all give 3 big claps to our speaker. 1, 2, 3. I don't know whether you've been listening carefully. And because of that, can you look just next to a friend and smile? Just smile. Your colleague. I'm saying you smile. I am a teacher, and sometimes our visitors don't talk a lot, but let me say a few things. Do you know this is timely? This is timely. You know, our speaker, Doctor, started by saying, I'm preaching. And, you know, sometimes preaching, I don't know, we need implementation anyway. It's not just preaching, because this is very timely. And we've been told, Tharaka, we are going far. Now, you have to be part of this community, whether you want it or not. He said something which can be expanded. Tharaka, we are going far. So do you want to go behind? So you have to be part of this. And he said the pace at which we are moving on is okay, and we can go higher than that. So you have all the reasons to be happy when you are in this community. Now, he talked of preaching, but really it's more than that. Just the other day, you know, when we started this university, we were wondering who will partner with us. We lacked even the formula. So the VC is telling us, get a partner, do leakages, until we had even to set directorates, if you know very well. You know, we were looking for the strategy to do the partnerships. So we are setting directorates, so many. We are sending people here and here. But just the other day in the meeting, we were told already now we have a list of the partners. The VC may not read them here, and they are increasing, but we are already setting up that pace. And we have the partners. They've even started coming to the university. The Germans who are here the other day, and the others we are not seeing, local and international. Now, if we are in that state, don't you think this is the preaching we needed? Because we are already there, we are setting ourselves, we are doing like this. So we need the preaching so that we understand what we are doing before we mess up. So even when Dr. talked about the training, I was imagining also we need continuous this kind of talking so that we understand what we are doing. The other day we had the ministry here. They want to bring partners on the part of CBE infrastructure. And now we were being told the government has to be there, the whole project will be with the partners, so we were wondering, what about us? So we need also to understand that. So this preaching is very timely because this is where we are. The Norway, we are here with Ericsson. Don't you think we are going to form partners? I was looking at Norway when I was here. I'm looking at hydroelectric power. I'm looking at fertilizer. Actually, that is where I was. And I'm wondering, now, where are we going to partner? Because you cannot just leave. You will not leave just like that, because that is where we are now. You know, the University of Nairobi, they are already there. I don't know. But us, we are there at the setting, at the foundation. So we need from Norway, is it fertilizer? Is it solar power? These trees we are growing, can we grow them wherever so that we start producing paper can they produce paper anyway? So your preaching, Daktari, is timely. And to make good things good, urban management. The other day we were asking, now people have started coming up. At the gate there, we are crowded. In fact, when we are getting out in the evening, you don't know whether there is a shop here next to the gate. Business comes up to the gate. Don't you think we need some harmonization of what we are doing? So he's going to work with our VC. That one, he has to do it. And then we are going to do the infrastructure there in a good way, because he's in the government, in the administration, and all that. You can imagine that place is going to be organized because of Daktari. He has to do it. That is his area. You remember, we've been taught about these PPPs. It's voluntary and collaborative. For efficiency, effectiveness, and socio-economic development. And that is where we are. So we are looking for volunteers. Even for them coming today, it was actually voluntary. When I was asking director, who is coming? That's why I told him to bring out the keynote speakers, because he was giving me a big list. Then I'm asking him, do you think all these people are coming? So they are here with us. It's voluntary. It is not really by force, so that we can collaborate. And like I've said, that is where we are looking to so many projects. We need infrastructure. The rectors, you know how we are here. We need the programs and all that. And Daktari, Dr. Giti, actually your preaching is very timely, and they know it, because that is where we are. From knowing you have heard what we are going to get. And by the way, when he comes, Erickson, you tell us about the social sustainability. We will not just do things like that. Is it sustainable? So our conference this year is going to bring great things. That's why I said it's great for this time. We are very grateful for the support, because other teams are coming, and I'm sure it will not just be like that. You can imagine Dr. Giti structuring now, that you will start seeing that part is already structured, and Norway is all over here, just like mining. And I like repeating this. These PPPs, it is the way to go. When I went to Germany, and I keep on boasting of the short time, 2 weeks, you know, we were taken loud. That university was called Salad University. And one of the sections of the university was big buildings. And that is a company that is working together with the university. And the students get internship, there is infrastructure, and so forth. So I was looking at Bidiko, Prof. Now we have to grow, what? Sunflower at Mukodima. So the Bidiko should have some setting, isn't it? Yes, so we should move to that. They will be working with us as we also benefit, and they benefit. So I was looking for an industry which will not bring a lot of pollution. Mining now, I don't know, we are already there. But Bidiko, immediately the plant will grow very fast. So we start seeing structures. Bidiko company and people working there. So we are already in that spirit, Daktari. So to do the setting. Otherwise, God bless you so much. We are moving on well. I don't know whether the director has something to say, but after this, we shall go for a photo session, and then we'll have Erickson, who will now tell us all these mines we have, social sustainability, so that we don't mess as we get in, because our VC has a big list of partners. So where do we start? Where do we gain? Like that. So welcome, director, so that you take us to the next.
Thank you so much, DVC and the VC and all protocols observed. I will not talk much. Mine is to guide you in terms of where we shall proceed to. So from now, I think we are going to proceed for the photo session. Outside the VC's office, we shall have Joseph, please set up some chairs over there. I think around 6 or 7 for our seniors, and then the other team will take the photo. So after this, we shall, after the photo session, we shall proceed for a cup of tea the breakfast, and then from there, I think we can do that one, the photo session and cup of tea within 35 minutes. We can do that, and then we come back here. We want to be very punctual. Yeah, as when I was in States, when I was training, my lecturer was never late. My lecturer was never late. If he runs late, he tells you, I'll be late in 5 minutes. So I think we can have somebody to pray for us for a cup of tea, and then we proceed outside VC's office. So I give this chance. Kimathi Mwembu, please, Daktari. You can say a word of prayer. Pray for the cup of tea.
Tuombe kwa imani. Baba, katika jina la mwana wako Yesu Kristo na Roho Mtakatifu, tumekuja mbele zako asubuhi hii tukikushukuru kwa yote ambayo yametendeka mazuri yanakupendeza. Tunaomba Baba, popote pale ambapo tumefanya dhambi utusamehe, kwa sababu sisi kila mara tuna udhaifu wetu kama binadamu. Tukuja mbele zako sasa tukiomba ubariki kinywaji na vitafunio ambavyo vipo mbele yetu, ili viwe baraka na vya tija katika miili yetu. Baba, tumekushukuru kwa kikao hiki ambacho tumekuwa nacho. Endelea kutujalia amani, hekima na uwezo kwa kuendelea. Katika jina la Bwana wako Yesu Kristo tunaomba na kuamini.